Well, sometimes it's good to find out, he said, just how stupid some people can be. And I guess that's right. Hi, this is Stan Houston for Interesting Ideas, and obviously the title for this short program caught you. Yes, of course. It is almost like clickbait. Yes, it's hard to believe how stupid they can be. They're going to indict Donald Trump. So there we go. Yes, that's what I'd like to talk about, and I really don't want to talk about that as much as just to try and help us understand maybe a sense of priority about what we should do. And then, of course, I'm always reminded of my favorite characters, Laurel and Hardy. And remember that wonderful line of Oliver Hardy. And now, this is another fine mess you've gotten me into. There we go. Just a blast from the past and a few thoughts about the present. I'm Stan Houston. The program is a little bit light, but maybe something that might be helpful on this Tuesday. We CQ'd you, we CQ'd you, and we wanted you all to come, and thanks for joining us. Yesterday on the program, a number of you commented about the fact where I actually said that, guess what? We are probably going to land up paying for the bank bailout deal. And of course, that wasn't the popular narrative, but I claimed that that's what was going to happen, and I gave you my thoughts and a little bit of my evidence. I've noticed that in the news cycles and the people who are being called upon now is that that is now becoming a strong consensus, is that it truly is a bailout of rich people's banks, and it just has to. In many ways, it's going to cost other banks and other people, and obviously it's going to cost us too. Whether they're going to do it or whether that's a good thing for right now, but let's, again, T9, tell the truth, tell the truth, tell the truth. The truth is that it's going to cost somebody, and that somebody is probably you. And it could get worse. And obviously this is a week where things truly are on the balance. It is indicated by some people that runs are beginning on some regional and other banks. People are not believing. Now, this is part of the problem, is if you can't believe what people have said before, then how can you believe him now? And now that we've had a lot of disbelief about how the COVID thing was handled and what happened, and now we have the crisis of the financial situation, and the government leaders come in and say, don't worry, we've got it all under control, it'll be fine. Guess what? There are people who are not going to believe them. You know, I oftentimes go back to a book called Stanley Stupid, and the name of the book was, and I was Stanley, and my kids loved the story, The Stupid Step Out, and they do it all the time. Here's the deal. Also, the speculation is that within the next few days that Donald Trump is going to be indicted for about 6 years ago, supposedly giving some money to a woman he had an affair with or a one-night stand with so that she wouldn't talk. $100-some thousand. I have no idea whether that's true or not. He denied it. Supposedly there are evidences or stories out there, and it turns out that the district attorneys, led by Alvin Bragg, a not very bright character, is kind of manipulated, because it's going to be hard to get that charge to stick, and it's going to be even harder to prove that in court, but you might be able to do it and actually get Trump accused and indicted for a felony. And that would be rather obvious and obviously difficult for Donald Trump. So that's what hopefully they think, and that's what we've been led to believe might happen. They're going to do that. Well, okay, let's say they do that. And the question is, and how will your life and my life be better if they do? Here we have inflation. Here we have a financial crisis. Here we have a situation where we are involved in a major confrontation with the Chinese powerhouse. The war in Russia, Ukraine continues to drain us of resources, and we wonder how can we bring an end to that conflict. The border situation is worse, and so we have all of these issues. And of course, I have family that lives in New York City, and they say the city's a mess in so many ways. And so spending time and money trying to indict and then charge Donald Trump for something he did 6 years ago, in which supposedly nobody was hurt, that's what we're going to spend our time and money doing. The stupids do step out. Hey, very short today because I want to hopefully end on something that's a little more positive. But again, people don't understand. The man like Alvin Bragg, who's not a bright man, and is very, very much, quote, on the side of, criminal justice, whatever that means. And of course, we now know that it oftentimes means that the criminal gets the break and the victim doesn't. They get broke. Hey, here, Donald Trump would love that. He would probably appoint himself as his primary spokesman at the trial, and it would be an incredible platform. He would raise a ton of money. He has a platform to do what he does well, and that is to make fun of things, to poke at things, to jab at things, to, in effect, make other people, at least in his eyes, look and act foolish. They think they can hurt Trump and perhaps wreck his chances of being president, but they're actually, if they do that, and maybe somebody will get smart with them pretty soon, that would be what Trump would love to have happen. And just like all of the other times where they've tried to get him for something, he will find a way, and he will work hard, and he'll probably escape. And at the same time, that means that the political pressure will be on other attorneys to finally do something against the Biden family. So that pressure will pick up. And that's something, obviously, the Democrats, who are the people who don't like Trump, wouldn't want. Again, I oftentimes had to say this: we can't have a strategic planning workshop, because you can't have strategic planning workshops with people who've never had a strategic thought in their life. And that's true. They have never learned to think ahead and assess the consequences of their actions. They lose the ability to see the future when it's in plain sight. And that's a part of what we have to work on today. So there we go. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. But like a lot of things, a lot of us just will simply shake our head, and say, okay, what's next? And then for those of us of faith, we simply say, the world is truly out of our control in many ways, and so we live by faith, and hopefully we will live well and be strong by faith. Just a thought about Donald Trump and his possible indictment. And perhaps there's something that we can also say that might be a little bit more helpful. And let's see if we can do that when we come back. I'm Stan Houston. The program is Interesting Ideas. We want the best for you. And what will be the best for you? I'm just going to suggest something that most of us will find very unnatural, but I've tried to practice it a little bit. And remember, I'm a type A person. I work very, very hard. I put in lots of hours doing lots of things, and I've got lots of projects. And those of you who know all the things I'm involved in, it's kind of overwhelming. But I've also learned, because I've thought about it and had recent experience at it, I think unknown, but perhaps anonymous, but I think it might have a source that says simply that the problem is the world. The problem with the world is most people have never learned how to sit still and be quiet for 1 hour. Sit still and be quiet for 1 hour. Now, of course, there's all kinds of talk about meditation, and of course, that is an attempt to do that. But usually what they do is they then say, okay, when you meditate, you have to use this certain kind of mantra, and you have to read something, and you have to think about this, and you have to do a variety of things to make the meditation work. And there's all kinds of guides and journals, and I'm not knocking that at all. I'm very much in favor of things like that. But I also know that sometimes it's good just to turn down the lights and maybe turn them off and not have any agenda, but just to sit still and be quiet. And oftentimes I find, and I believe it's by God's good grace, that all of a sudden something just happens in my spirit, in my sense of optimism, a deep rest, just because I took time to sit still for 1 hour and be quiet. I oftentimes tell people, because we're launching a brand new podcast on the power of prayer. It was a continuation of one we began with another colleague, and now it's shifting gears. And part of this is just a simple way of saying, as I oftentimes said, sometimes our spirit and sometimes the God that we worship is simply saying to us, you know what? Just be still. Shut up. Maybe listen. So on this Wednesday evening, that's my thought for today, and I hope that will be helpful to you. And as one of my favorite characters in a Robertson Davies beautiful book, the character says, "Dear Lord, please don't let me die stupid. Dear Lord, please don't let me die stupid." All the best and blessings to you. Until next time, I'm Stan Houston with Interesting Ideas. Reach out to be a part of the program. StanHouston@gmail.com. StanHouston@gmail.com. Bye for now.